Greetings! A tiramisu recipe from an Italian pastry chef. Classic, authentic tiramisu will make it in the form of a cake. Don't be intimidated by the number of ingredients, it's all simpler than it looks. We'll need 150 grams of egg whites at room temperature. This is important. We have two options, either make it ourselves or buy Savoiardi specifically made for this dessert. Today we'll make them ourselves. We'll also need 130 grams of sugar. Beat the egg whites into a foam, gradually adding the sugar. It's best to use fine sugar, the kind that dissolves more easily. Pay attention to how I add the sugar. It's important that all the sugar dissolves completely. Add it gradually. And the egg whites should be warm. As soon as I add the last portion of sugar, I beat it until I get the consistency I need. The egg whites need to be whipped well so that they remain stable and can withstand all the steps we'll be doing next. This is how the egg whites should look when whipped, and there shouldn't be a single grain of sugar left. Everything is perfect. Now they're ready for the next steps. The yolks. I've specified the number of eggs. This is the average size. Today my eggs are quite small. Combine the yolks with the egg whites. Add 150 grams of wheat flour to the batter and gently mix until you have a smooth dough, making sure there is no dry flour left. You still need to knead the dough thoroughly. That's it. It's perfectly ready. I'll be piping it out using a pastry bag. It's just more convenient for me this way. My cake will have a diameter of 20 centimeters. And note, I'm using silicone-coated parchment paper. If you use regular parchment, that's where your cakes will stick. Since I'm making it as a cake, I'm shaping them round. If you want to serve this dessert in the classic way, you can simply pipe out ladyfinger sticks or just buy them at the store. They are actually quite inexpensive. The result will be the same. That's it. I'm piping out 4 cakes, each 20 centimeters in diameter. Be sure to dust them with powdered sugar. You'll need about 50 grams. So I dust them well and put them in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes, preheated to 170 degrees on convection mode. I baked 2 trays at the same time for 12 minutes until they turned this golden color. That's it. It's completely done. You don't need to dry it out any further. Just a little bit, 10 to 12 minutes, and then take everything out. It's ready. I immediately shape it the way I need. This sponge cake doesn't rise much. I'll trim off whatever I don't need. It's still slightly warm. I cut it out right away. There's nothing there that needs to cool down. As soon as I put it on the table, it was already cool. That's it. So I cut out the shape I need. Everything is small there. Everything is precisely calculated. The calculations here are done specifically for this cake. You see, even from this, I just tear it off like that. The sponge cake is ready. And these are the little pieces, just a tiny bit left. This is for sprinkling. Let's prepare the cream. So here we also have 2 options. This is gelatin. I have 6 grams of it and 20 milliliters of water. Since I'm making a cake, I need to stabilize it a bit. This cake, just for a second, will be 10 centimeters tall. That's why I'm adding a bit of gelatin. You won't be able to taste it, but it will give me the stabilization I need. If you're making the classic version, you just take a bowl and lay out the Savoiardi in it. You dip them in coffee, add the cream, then the Savoiardi, layer everything, sprinkle with cocoa, and then you serve the dessert in portions with a spoon. But I will still add a bit of gelatin later on. Gelatin is optional, you don't have to use it. Here, I'll be using some equipment. I'll be whipping it in a stand mixer. 2 whole eggs, 120 grams of yolks. That's about 6 or 7 eggs, depending on their size. I add them in. I add 120 grams of sugar and 65 milliliters of room temperature water. We're going to put all of this over a steam bath. Immediately combine the sugar with the yolks. Yolks can curdle from the sugar. For the steam bath, use a saucepan with a little water, just enough so that the bottom doesn't touch the water. I've set it up and made sure everything is dry. Let's go and put it on the stove. Constantly stirring, cook this cream. Your water shouldn't be boiling vigorously. It should just barely simmer like this, and don't walk away. You need to stand there and keep stirring all the time. You need to bring this cream up to 84 degrees Celsius. That's important. That's it, they're completely ready. I'm adding half a teaspoon of vanilla paste. You don't have to add it, you can use vanilla sugar together with regular sugar or vanillin. I'm adding gelatin to this mixture, or you can skip it if you're just making it in a bowl. That's it, I'm going to start whipping it. I need to whip this cream and cool it down completely. It should become thicker and completely cold. Mascarpone, 50 to 500 grams, straight from the fridge, cold. Cold cream, 30 to 33% fat. I have 400 milliliters of it. I'm whipping the cream. Whip the cream until it reaches this kind of consistency. Don't overwhip it, but don't leave it too runny either. This, in my opinion, is the perfect consistency for this cream. Done! The eggs are completely whipped. They're not raw. Sometimes I see videos titled tiramisu without raw eggs. Well, why would they be raw in there? So we add the chilled egg cream to the whipped cream. I add it in 2 stages. I mix in the first part well, then mix in the second part well too. The cream is actually quite stable, but still be careful and gently combine everything together. The first part and the second part, the eggs are definitely cooked here. That's it. This cream is just perfect. And by the way, the sugar here is perfectly balanced. I'm someone who doesn't really like sweet desserts. A ring mold, 20 by 10, and acetate film. Coffee. There's a nuance here as well. Since my kids will be eating this cake, I used 150 milliliters of Americano. Traditionally, this cake actually calls for 300 milliliters of espresso, just so you understand the coffee concentration. It's supposed to be espresso. If you soak the Savoiardi in 300 to 400 milliliters, you'll be dipping them and layering them with the cream. And in the classic recipe, we also add 40 milliliters of amaretto to the coffee. That's a type of liqueur. The cream, I divided it into portions of 250 grams each, as I needed. Biscuit coffee, 250 grams. Biscuit coffee, 250 grams. And for the final decoration, I set aside about 500 grams of cream on average. In total, the weight of this cake is 1 kilo 600 grams. Distribute everything evenly. Don't forget that this cake is more about the cream. There should be more cream here than sponge layers. You see, I even have some coffee left over. I didn't even use all 150 milliliters. But remember, this is a coffee dessert. The flavor of coffee in this dessert should be bold. That's not a problem. I'll just make myself a cup of coffee, brew it, take a piece of cake, and enjoy. But there, yes. So either you immediately spread a layer of cream, sprinkle it all with cocoa, and set it aside to stabilize, or you do it like I did. I decided to decorate it a bit, just to present the cake this way. And I'm piping it out. There's more than enough cream. I even have some left over. Here's a little bit of cream left. For full stabilization, put it in the fridge for at least 6 hours. The cake is big. It's been 3 hours for me, but I already want to show it to you. The acetate film came off together with the ring. No worries, the cake held up. You see, it's still a bit soft, but everything is fine with it. If you want, I made some crumbs from the leftovers. If you want, you don't have to do this. The amount of cocoa is also up to you. Some people like a whole centimeter, and others like me just want to decorate it classically. I add just a little, but you can sprinkle on a whole centimeter of cocoa if you like. It's all up to you. That's it. Let me show you what it looks like inside. This is a single cream. Anyone who loves tiramisu will be delighted. It's a delicate, delicious, not overly sweet, light and low-fat dessert. And as always, enjoy.